Ah, the 80s. The time in which you as a starting actor had to go to the studio, wait with other people that wanted part of the movie, and then you go and do your audition for a group of people. Now, you have to videotape yourself and send it through mail. That's no fun. Hello everybody, I'm Jay Mere and welcome to my review of the final chapter of the X trilogy called MaXXXine. It is a horror movie directed by Ty West, starring Mia Goth as our main character Maxine Minx, and we also have in this movie Elizabeth Debicki, Lily Collins and Kevin Bacon, among others, because this movie really has a big cast. Some really interesting names are attached to this movie. I was even surprised to see Sophie Thatcher in this movie. Actually beginning to really appreciate becoming a fan of Sophie Thatcher since the show Yellow Jackets and her main role in the Boogeyman movie. Yeah, this movie really has a big cast. And this is the third part in the X trilogy. We all started it with the movie X. Then we got a prequel to see the character of Pearl in her younger years. And in MaXXXine, we go to the 80s and we follow Maxine again, the survivor of the X movie. And like I said, we are in the 80s. Maxine has a wish, a dream to become more than just a simple porn actress. She really wants to be in real movies. Eventually she does audition for, I believe, low budget horror movies, the typical 80s stuff. And as soon as she lands this role, she gets terrorized by an unnamed killer. A killer in a black raincoat that is really targeting all the people around her, and she has to figure out who this killer is and what the killer has to do with her. That's the movie. And MaXXXine is a movie that I really like, but it was not the kind of movie that I was really expecting. I expected something else. But on the other hand, on the other side, it is really interesting that Ty West did not do a rehash of X or Pearl. These three movies in this trilogy are all their own movie. They're all their own style, their own thing. They are not copy paste. Like X was a very artistic slasher film. Pearl was a character study, and MaXXXine is this kind of Giallo-ish movie. It's also kind of a slasher, but more a Giallo slasher. And for those who don't know what a Giallo film is, Giallo, well, literally it is Italian for yellow, but it also refers to a very specific kind of horror movie, Italian horror movie, Italian slasher film from the end of the 60s all the way to the end of the 80s. There was a very specific period, and all these kind of Italian movies, they are very stylish, artistic, and they always are the same, taking place in a city, and there is this witness that see the killing of a killer. And mostly the killer is in a black raincoat with black clothes and a hat, and the whole movie is trying to figure out who this killer is. This is also kind of a whodunit movie. And MaXXXine really fits in that category of a Giallo film. I really got Giallo vibes. We also had a killer in a black raincoat targeting people, and MaXXXine as character had to figure out who this killer is. And I actually really think that this works as a Giallo movie. It's also a very stylish movie, and I did really expect a stylish movie from Ty West. Ty West is that horror director, definitely now with his X movies, that is very stylish, very artistic. I already saw that in X, in Pearl, and now in MaXXXine. And right from the start of MaXXXine, I was really into this movie. Like the way it opens, MaXXXine going to this audition in this studio, and everything, the music, she riding the car, her walking to the studio, the way it is filmed, everything feels so 80s, so stylish 80s, and I was loving it. As soon as that opening scene was happening, I was really in for it. But I really like that it was a Giallo movie. I really like the style. However, the characters did not always do it for me. I did not really like all these characters. We did not really spend much time with these characters, and I feel like that was a shame because some of these characters were very interesting and I wanted to spend some more time with. Like we have one of the more prominent character in this movie was the character played by Elizabeth Debicki. She was this typical horror artistic director from the 80s, very strict director on the set. She really wants the best movie out there, and it was really nice to see the behind the scenes of this 80s movie, the 80s style, her making this horror movie. That was very interesting. That was also a very interesting plot line. So we had two interesting plot lines, but I feel like both were not developed enough in my opinion. And then we have a character like Kevin Bacon. Like, I really like seeing Kevin Bacon in movies, but his character in this movie was really weird. I don't know, it was a bit, it put me out of the movie every time he was on scene. I don't know. I don't really think he was the perfect match, or maybe the character was just not really fit for the story they want to tell. And also, we have our cop characters. I don't know, they were also not really that interesting, to be honest. And the third act was the kind that I not really was expecting. It was a bit weird at that moment, so the third act did not really do much for me. But all in all, I actually really had a good time watching MaXXXine and really love it for the style. It's a fitting conclusion for the X trilogy. Really love the trilogy now. But I would place them X number 1, then Pearl, and then MaXXXine. But MaXXXine is also a very likable movie. I just expected a little more from it than I got. But all in all, these were my thoughts on the movie MaXXXine. Always be free to share your thoughts on this movie. Did you like it, or was it also not really what you were expecting? Were you hoping for a bit more than you got? Let me know below in the comments, would love to read those. And if you want to see more reviews of me in the future, always be free to subscribe to my channel. Until the next time.